Hey guys, welcome back to another video here on Toned In Entertainment, where we love pop culture. Today, it's time for another movie look back review. And for this one, I really hope you have your best running shoes on and a full health bar, because you're definitely gonna need it as I take a look back at The Warriors, released back in 1979. The movie stars Michael Beck as Swan, David Patrick Kelly as Luther, James Remar as Ajax, Dorsey Wright as Cleon, Deborah Van Valkenburgh as Mercy, Roger Hill as Cyrus, and was directed by Walter Hill. Now, I usually start off my movie reviews by going over the premise, but if I did start off by talking about the opening credits here in The Warriors, I'd definitely be doing this movie an injustice. Here we're going to see several snippets of different gangs and just get a little insight into their personalities. But what really makes this opening scene really rock is the music. If this doesn't get your adrenaline pumping, you just might want to get your pulse checked. Now, a man named Cyrus, who essentially is the head honcho for all the gangs in New York City, has requested that all the gangs come together for this very rare occasion, where he's going to give this massive speech and lay out a plan for his future. Now, there are some rules that the gang members can only send 9 members, and they all have to be unarmed. Now, at this massive gathering of hundreds of gang members, Cyrus is going to propose to all of them that instead of working against each other, it's time to come together and work as one against the authorities that are trying to hold them back in New York City. Now, while there does seem to be a consensus that all the gangs are on board, when Cyrus gets shot and killed, well, that deal is off, and it's going to be the Warriors who are framed by Luther of the Rogues Gang. Now, there have been plenty of video games that have been translated to the big screen, and honestly, a lot of them weren't very good. Now, The Warriors actually feels like it could have been a classic Nintendo beat 'em up, just like Double Dragon, and if it had, this is exactly how a movie like this should have gone down. As you see, the Warriors travel from little town to little town, fighting off various waves of enemy, all in the hopes of trying to get from the Bronx to Coney Island for safety. Now, when it comes to the creativity that the filmmakers went through to give each of these gangs a unique look and feel, they definitely knocked it out of the park. Sure, you're going to get some typical looking gangs like the Orphans or the Rogues, but you're also going to see a lot of unique gangs here as well, like the all-female gang, the Lizzies, probably the most iconic gang here in the movie, the Baseball Furies, and my personal favorite, the roller skating punks. Now, while the looks of these characters certainly is great, what really makes you have an emotional investment in this movie is just how complex these characters are. And I'm not just talking about the gang members here, as one of my favorite storylines here in this movie is the unconventional love story between Swan and Mercy. Now, probably the most iconic line here in this movie is when Luther is rattling some glass bottles and he says, "Warriors, come out and play." And the Warriors certainly will, as there will be one final showdown between these two gangs on the beach of Coney Island, where the old motto of "don't bring a knife to a gunfight" is disproven. Now, do I recommend the movie The Warriors? Absolutely. This movie will take you on a roller coaster of a ride with plenty of action, drama, awesome music, and an unconventional love story that from the opening credits to the closing ones, it will be better than any thrill ride Coney Island could ever come up with. Now, I've been wanting to review The Warriors for quite some time, but it hasn't come on any streaming platform, at least that I can recall, in quite some time, nor is it available at this present time either. Now, it is available to rent for as little as $2.99 on various platforms, but for me, I had to go old school and get it on the Netflix DVD service. Now, it had been about 20 years since I watched The Warriors for the very first time, and a couple weeks ago, when I rewatched this movie, I did write my review, and when I came to my final score, I was going to give it an 8 out of 10. But I didn't get a chance to film my review before I went on vacation, and I'm so glad I didn't, because when I came back, I actually had the urge to watch this movie for a second time, and I'm so glad I did, because rewatching this movie a second time had me grow an even greater appreciation for just how great this this movie really is. So my final score for the Warriors is a 9.5 out of 10. Guys, if you've never seen the movie The Warriors, you definitely should. At least one, no, probably 2 times, so you can take it all in, because you're definitely gonna miss some stuff on your first run. This movie just has awesome action, a great story, and a great cast of characters. Now, have you guys ever seen the movie The Warriors? And if you have, what is your favorite gang here in this movie? Comment down below. And guys, if you like movie look back reviews like this, make sure you stay tuned in here to Toned In Entertainment for future videos.
Subscribe to the channel. Do it. Go now. Do it now.